This is Replicant Fish. Welcome back. Glad you could join me again. I hope you're doing well. Hope you've had a nice day. And I hope you're focused and on your square. So what do I have for you today? Egg freezing, career women, and the future of fertility.
Oh God.
From Vice Life. Now before I continue, a few points to clarify. A couple, man and woman together, married couple, whatever, that have failed to conceive a child naturally, I have no problem there in IVF. However, my point is the modern weaponizing of the IVF. By the modern independent, I don't need a man, I can do it all by myself. Woman. Now, as I have said many times before, no one cares if a woman wants to be modern and independent. It's modern society.
No one cares.
No one cares. But my point is the continued weaponizing of these things. And how many women boast that they don't need a man, they can do it all themselves, get a bag, or get the bag, get their careers, and then still have it all. Have a kid as well. It doesn't always work that way though, does it? It's not funny. In a sense it is. But enough waffling. Let's begin.
There's been a lot of buzz about egg freezing being a kind of insurance policy for women looking to delay motherhood, especially with trend-setting companies like Apple and Facebook offering to pay for the procedure through their employees' benefits packages.
What?
That is interesting. A very expensive procedure, yet certain big corporations are willing to pay for their female staff to stay on and work, but they can still have a baby later on. It's interesting, isn't it? I wonder if men get an equivalent sort of care package, you know? Do men get the same thing? We talk about a wage gap nowadays, but I mean, is that in itself not a wage gap to be able to get IVF from the company you work for? Whereas men can't get any equivalent that costs that much? You can get a super mega giant knob, but I mean, what benefit is it going to really have to you as a man? I'm just saying.
But what do we really know about this procedure? Well, we know it's expensive, and we know it's kind of invasive, but does it work? Is it worth it? Is it dangerous? Is this just a scam where people are preying on women's insecurities about dying alone?
Yes, it is. Of course it is. Many can see this except for a large amount of women. They can't see it because it's being sold to them, so it's supposed to be packaged with a nice bow on top. A nice package filled with her eggs, yeah? Go on, love, put these in your fridge, and in 15 years' time, you can pop out a baby, yeah? That's not how it works. That's budget egg freezing, but yes, it is something being sold to many women. And they believe it and weaponize it to think they're better than men, and they don't need a man. Yeah, good luck.
It's important that we know that, because if the perennial question is, can women have it all? Could the answer be egg freezing?
Wow, look at that. It's just another excuse. Is it an excuse? I don't know. You have to wonder as a man. Women boast a lot nowadays. But what is the truth? Oh, look at that. Overreaction. Oh my God, how clever. Yeah, cracking.
Bullshit.
Given today's social and professional climates, more and more women are delaying pregnancy.
I guess I think maybe I'd be like in my mid-30s. As a young woman, I'm thinking more about what I want to do professionally than I am about family and stuff like that.
How old are you, Gabby?
21.
Are you really?
Nope. I'm 20.
Do you ever think about like having babies or starting a family or?
I'm mostly thinking about trying not to have a kid.
Yeah, and as a young woman, have as much fun as you want to, with as many men as you want to. I mean, that is the benefit nowadays for many women. Instead of expelling all their sexual energy on one man, be it their husband, say they get married in their early 20s, maybe have only had a few men. Nah, that's not enough.
This WAP is on fleek.
Why wouldn't a woman in her most fertile days have as much D as she possibly can? Why not? Fun, career, holidays, the house, the car, the baby later on. There's no need for a man, only for fun. Yeah?
You're just jealous.
A luxury? Yeah.
I need to live out my life, and I want to be in a comfortable spot financially.
55 years ago, birth control pills gave women control over their own bodies, enabling them to chart their own reproductive destinies, to delay pregnancy until the time was right.
And with that power, many of them became garden tools.
Proper garden tool.
I mean, it's interesting.
According to a recent study by the CDC, first births to women 35 and older have increased nearly ninefold in the past 4 decades. As women, we spend so much time in our teens and 20s trying to prevent pregnancy because that's considered the responsible thing to do. But that also makes it easier to forget our own biology, that our most fertile years are between the ages of 19 to 26. Now, many women are looking to assisted reproductive technology to help them beat their biological clocks, or at least to press the snooze button and buy a little more time.
You know what's so ironic about all of this? The boast that women can do it all and that they don't need a man. The modern, strong, independent woman.
That is bullshit.
Who invented IVF? Oh, lo and behold, the Nobel Prize Committee announced today, 2010 Nobel Prize in Physiology or Medicine is awarded to Dr. Robert Edwards, a man. How ironic, a man, for his role in developing human in vitro fertilization, IVF. A man. So how much do women need men?
No one cares.
For the segment of women who say, I want to pursue a career, then egg freezing in particular provides them a tremendous option that women of my generation, and certainly the generations before me, just did not have.
And all these older women selling younger women crap. Not telling them things that could benefit them. No, just telling them, oh, I didn't have this. You're so lucky nowadays. You can be as much of a garden tool as you want to and still have a baby.
Disgusting.
Oh yeah, how inspiring. How inspiring. Yeah?
I think egg freezing is a tremendous advance, perhaps one of, if not the most tremendous advance in women's reproductive health in the last 50 years.
Up until about 15 years ago, eggs were frozen using a slow freeze method, which was generally ineffective. But in 2000, the process was significantly improved by a new technology called vitrification.
Modern technology, yeah? Modern technology. Look at that. A man, evil men creating technology that's actually benefiting many career women. Just evil men.
And in 2012, the American Society for Reproductive Technology lifted the experimental label on vitrification, making the procedure widely available for women looking to delay motherhood.
Life today is younger women postponing childbearing, advancing careers, advancing education, advancing their families, doing whatever they want to do. And all of that requires postponing childbirth. It's really a great, great insurance policy.
Is it really? Once again, women, you don't need a man. This is more proof, women, you don't need a man. Men, pay attention to all the men doing all the hard work to make women be able to say this. The irony, oh, the irony.
Just like a woman.
Sort of like Derek Jackson telling people not to cheat.
And while many people see egg freezing as an empowering advance for women, others are not so sure.
It's not an insurance policy, that's for sure. You might be one of the lucky people, but you're more likely to undergo a lot of discomfort, some risk, and a lot of expense, and then have heartbreak.
No way. Imagine that, women, all that expense and time and effort, damaging your body for something that may not even be. Yeah? You don't need a man. Keep believing the crap.
Because you don't have a child, and you thought maybe you were going to get one out of those frozen eggs.
The marketing right now is suggesting that this is a hassle.
Smart women freeze eggs.
It's a hassle-free, easy, liberating thing that all young women should consider. The idea that we would market this to everybody, I find that deeply unnerving.
Oh, thank you for saying that, woman. Thank you for saying that, because it is deeply unnerving to know this is being sold to women in general. You know, like, oh, you can freeze your eggs. It's a sense of, why aren't men being told of more ways they can protect themselves to build their careers? But women doing it is normal and it's marketed to women in general. Yeah, it's interesting. Interesting world we live in.
There is this whole new market niche, which is healthy young women who aren't infertile. And of course, any business is going to jump to get a whole new demographic as customers.
Hi, Tracy. Nice to meet you.
So why did you decide to freeze your eggs?
You know, that's a really good question. I'm young and I have a great career.
How old are you?
I'm 28.
Shong New. You know, in certain parts of the world, 25 is the wall. In the West, we're somewhat more modest to say 30 is the wall. In China, it's 27. So, I mean, in all parts of the world, she's just about Shong New, just about kind of in there. In some cases, it's kind of a bit late, but she's just about in there in terms of maybe finding a husband to have a child naturally. But then again, please, a woman can have it all. She does not need a man. Come on, please. That's old school.
Yeah, and I'm in digital ad sales. And so there isn't this immediate urgency to freeze my eggs in most people's opinions, but for me, freezing my eggs allows me to fulfill my dreams on my own timeline without depending on a man or my biological clock.
Exactly, because women can do it all by themselves. Pay attention, men. We're told this all the time anyway. We know this as men. Women hammer this home constantly. Yes, women, we know you don't need a man. Yeah. How appealing as a man.
So how did the whole procedure go?
The first 14 days, you're taking hormones. I started off with my hormone estrogen rate at 61, and it got up to 1900.
Wow.
So by the end of those 2 weeks, you legitimately feel crazy.
Oh yeah, as a man, this is so appealing. Oh, I'm so turned on right now. No, I'm not. I shouldn't be, but this is it's just an example of just like, really? At what point is this weird? No, I'm the weird one. I forget I'm the weird one. Let's carry on.
So after those 2 weeks, I went in for my surgery, which is a fairly simple procedure, and I noticed that my belly was really swollen. I looked a couple months pregnant, so I was nervous about it.
This is a 28-year-old fertile woman doing this to herself, by the way. So if you feel sorry for her, it's your choice. I personally don't. She's paying for this to do it herself. Willingly, okay?
And when I asked the doctor, she just handed me a one-sheeter, and at the title it was ovarian hyperstimulation syndrome.
Yep, on one piece of paper. That's what you get, woman. Yeah, that's how you're treated.
Ovarian hyperstimulation syndrome is a condition that can result as a reaction to the hormones used in stimulating egg production. Serious cases of the condition only affect about 3% of patients, but in its worst instances, it can actually cause ovarian torsions, a separate and very threatening complication in which an ovary turns over on itself.
What?
My God, I know I'm being a knob. Obviously I'm being a knob in the video, but this is actually kind of disturbing. And it's like, would women really just do this to themselves and put themselves at this risk for something that they don't need to do? But then again, I'm a misogynist. I forget. I'm a misogynist. Let's carry on.
It was the kind of debilitating pain where you just feel paralyzed, and I started dry heaving. And I made it just a few steps into my apartment before I blacked out. And when I came to, I was on the couch and on the floor, covered in a cold sweat, and I was shivering. Like, I just had no idea what happened to me. I couldn't even reach for the Percocet bottle.
Yeah, Molly Percocets. Chase a chick, never chase a bit. All right, I didn't need to do that.
And so I ended up getting rushed to the ER, and upon arrival, they diagnosed me with ovarian torsions. So you gotta understand, your ovaries usually are the size of walnuts, but mine ended up the size of grapefruits because of the ovarian hyperstimulation syndrome.
Self-inflicted. Yeah, good marketing. Keep consuming, women. Keep consuming.
It's hard to even relive that moment. I went through a lot, and I would still do it all over again.
Silence, you fool!
There is more video, so if you want a part 2, let me know. But it's so strange as a man to live in a world knowing women are boasting as to all the free will they have and how much they don't need us as men. Yet again, all their comforts are created by men, ironically. Because you see, it's perfectly fine for women to say and boast, to say that they don't need or want a man. It's marketed publicly in the mainstream. But if a man were to say but on the flip side, if a man were to say it, please, he's some sort of evil misogynist. Here, woof woof, as men, yeah. In other words, focus, observe, remember. The world is yours. Have a nice day.